Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's headlines, Germany's top diplomat, Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier, ends his official 3-day visit to the Middle East by visiting an Israeli school near the Gaza Strip. Supporters of the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant in the Gaza Strip have given the Islamist Hamas organization a 48-hour deadline in which they demand an immediate halt to the ongoing crackdown against Palestinian supporters of ISIL. Israeli officials fiercely criticize the decision of the UN Committee on Non-Governmental Organizations to grant accreditation to an organization that is identified with the Islamist Hamas organization. Germany's top diplomat, Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier, ended his official 3-day visit to the Middle East by visiting an Israeli school near the Gaza Strip.
Wir wollten uns einen Eindruck davon verschaffen, wie das Leben auf beiden Seiten des Zaunes ist. Heute Morgen waren wir in Gaza und haben natürlich die Folgen des Krieges gesehen und was das für die Lebensbedingungen der Menschen bedeutet. Aber wir vergessen nicht, dass auch auf dieser Seite des Zaunes Menschen leben wie Sie. Dazu mit viel Verantwortung für Kinder, die groß werden unter dem Eindruck von 3 Gaza-Kriegen und ständiger Bedrohung durch Raketen, die es in der Vergangenheit immer wieder gegeben hat.
Earlier in the day, Minister Steinmeier said during a visit to the Gaza Strip that any opening of the Palestinian enclave's borders and economic recovery from last year's devastating war hinged mainly on ensuring no more rockets are fired at Israel. The region has been largely quiet since an August ceasefire between Israel and the Islamist Hamas, which controls the Gaza Strip, although a rocket from Gaza was fired toward Israel's southern communities on the 26th of May, exploding in an open area near the Israeli port city of Ashdod.
Wir brauchen Investitionen aus dem In- und aus dem Ausland und wir brauchen dazu auch die Möglichkeit, das hier Produzierte zu exportieren, und das kann nur einhergehen mit einer Öffnung der Grenzen. Aber die ganze Wahrheit ist, meine Damen und Herren, das alles wird unter schwierigsten Umständen nur dann gelingen, wenn wirklich sicher ist, dass von hier aus, vom Gazastreifen aus, keine Raketenangriffe mehr gestartet werden, dass hier keine Startrampe für Raketen mehr besteht. Deshalb Sicherheit, das ist die Gegenleistung für die Entwicklung zugunsten der Menschen, die wir dringend brauchen.
Citing security concerns, Israel and Egypt tightly restrict the movement of people and goods through their borders with the Gaza Strip, a territory of 1.8 million Palestinians governed by the Palestinian Islamist Hamas movement. The United States and European Union shunned the Islamist Hamas over its hostility towards Israel, and Steinmeier did not meet with officials from the group during his Gaza tour, which included a visit to a UN school for girls constructed with German aid. The German top diplomat, who met Israeli and West Bank-based Palestinian leaders before visiting the Gaza Strip, said all sides to the conflict recognize that we are sitting on a powder keg and are taking care that it doesn't ignite. More on Gaza. Supporters of the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant in the Gaza Strip have given the Islamist Hamas organization a 48-hour deadline in which they demand an immediate halt to an ongoing crackdown against Palestinian supporters of ISIL. A statement released to the media did not note any indication of what the ISIL supporters would do if Hamas did not heed their demand. The warning included a claim of responsibility for a rocket fire at Israel from the Gaza Strip last week. Hamas has launched a crackdown on the radical Islamists following a series of unclaimed bombings. Hamas, which rules the Gaza Strip since 2007, views more radical groups as a threat, while the supporters of ISIL and other radical groups in Gaza accuse the Islamist Hamas of being soft on Israel and failing to impose strict Muslim religious laws on the Palestinians in Gaza. In other news, Israeli officials fiercely criticized the decision of the UN Committee on Non-Governmental Organizations to grant accreditation to an organization that is identified with the Islamist Hamas organization, which calls for the destruction of the Jewish state. Israeli officials said that the Palestinian Return Center, PRC, which is based in Britain, is part of Hamas, supports terrorism, and promotes anti-Israeli propaganda in Europe. Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Ron Prosol, said after the vote that after giving Hamas discounts, the UN had now given Hamas a welcome celebration at its main entrance, allowing it to be a full participant. Prosol added, judging by this scenario, we could one day find the Islamist Hezbollah organization, Iran's proxy in Lebanon, sitting in the Security Council, and the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant voting in the Human Rights Council. Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister Tzipi Hotovely said that the outrageous decision to include an organization belonging to Hamas in the UN institutions was a prize for terrorism. Now to Israel's neighbor, where an Egyptian court postponed issuing a final ruling over a death sentence recommendation for former Islamist President Mohammed Morsi and other top Muslim Brotherhood leaders. The court was expected to give a final ruling for a recommended death sentence, which was decided last month, but head judge Sha'ban El-Shami said the case was postponed to the 16th of June.
لجلسة 16/6/2015 لإتمام المداولة مع استمرار حبس المتهمين المحبوسين.
Now to another matter, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry broke his right leg in an accident while cycling a portion of the Tour de France route and left Europe for the United States earlier than expected, resulting in the cancellation of his scheduled travels to Madrid and Paris. The 71-year-old American top diplomat is still an avid sportsman and often takes his own bike on official trips abroad. The accident came the day after he met with his Iranian counterpart, Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif, in Geneva, to try to overcome obstacles in negotiations on curbing Tehran's nuclear program. The White House is confident, however, that it can still pursue Iranian nuclear talks despite Secretary Kerry's injury.
The fact is that we do continue to believe that we have the time and resources necessary to pursue and hopefully complete the Iran negotiations. And I'm confident that those negotiations will be affected by the Secretary's injury. But exactly how we move forward on this is something that we'll have more details on later.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest added that Kerry would continue to play a critical role in the talks, although it was unclear exactly what his capacity to participate would be in the coming weeks.
I'm confident that Secretary Kerry will continue to be an important part of this effort. Whether he's going to spend every day over the next 4 weeks in Europe negotiating face-to-face with his counterpart seems unlikely that he'll be able to do that given the injury that he sustained. But I'm confident that in whatever capacity he's able to participate, that Secretary Kerry will continue to play a critically important role in that effort.
The spokesman noted that Secretary of State John Kerry remained committed to the established timeline for Iran's nuclear talks, with a self-imposed deadline set for the 30th of June. Thank you for watching us. For more updates from Israel and the region, please join our Facebook page at TV7 Israel News. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have a Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.